Hello and welcome back to the channel where we are building a video game from scratch using Love2d and Lua. We are adding the second spell cast to our game, so we've got our water spell here that we're shooting out. Now, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. There's a couple of things we need to fix. One is... let's see. The render order, see how it renders on top of us? And you know what? This is going to be really tough actually, because I guess it should be above everything but Tashio, right? And the top level tile ID. So like, see how the roof there is over my head? It should not render on top of the tile, top level tile. It looks like it is beneath it, so that's good, but it needs to render under us. That could be very tricky. There's another thing we've got to fix too. I'm not remembering what it was though. We need to add, you know, collision detection for the water versus some enemies. And as far as what the water spell is going to do, oh, see, look at that scene transition. So look, if we do a scene transition, it renders there. So it should be part of the scene, or should be part of the map and not the scene, right? So in the game's code, we're calling a scene is a current map, as well as a map that might be coming on to the screen as well. So a scene can hold a current map as well as the next map, but a map is basically just a current thing you're looking at. So we need to basically make sure that the water spell is coming from the map, so that when we do a scene transition, it sticks with the map. Because right now, if we do it... well, that was a bad example. Let's see. Okay. Let's do it this way. Yeah, see that? Okay, so then once we get it fixed in, yeah, see, like that is very bad. Okay, then we can worry about the collision and then doing the actual logic to make it do something. Let's see how we're rendering it at the moment, so that we can kind of see what we can do about the render order. We render the aqueous projectile here, and then the aqueous projectile is actually in the player. Aqueous projectile, it's on the player class. So here's where we render it. We're rendering it after ourself. Let's just render it before ourselves, so it at least fixes that render order layer. Let's see. Should be underneath us, at least now. So that's good, that's good. So it doesn't render over us, but we still need to fix it for the map. This is cool. I like the animation for it. Yes, okay, so we still need to pull it out. Now, this is kind of bad in the sense that we can't fix this that easily since it's tied to the player. So the render order isn't so much the issue, it's that it is tied to the player, and the player exists outside of the scene because Tashio walks on top of the map, basically. So since it's part of the player, it is existing in this player render. So whenever we render the player, yeah, it's kind of stuck. It's kind of stuck with the player. Let's take a look at maybe the scene and see if we have any ideas. Because here in the scene, we should do like a graphics pop for the player render, right? Here, entity render. Okay. We're going to have to look up what the graphics push and pop does. Again, because I still forget that. So we do render the player here. So when we render the player, it's going to render both the spellcast and then the player. But it's existing in this pop. So we do a pop and a push. I don't... we gotta look up what that is again. I don't remember. Okay, push pushes the graphic state to the stack. You know, like words I understand. Stores the default coordinate system. Moves the camera position. Zooms the camera. Then pop returns to default coordinates. I don't see... So push saves the default coordinate system, and then pop goes back. Okay. I still don't get it. So pop or push, whenever we do a push. See, why are we doing pop and then push? There's got to be a secondary push. Yeah, so we do a push. Okay. So here... I don't know. Part of me thinks we need to take it out of the player. It's nice to have it. We have it on the player just because, you know, we update the aqueous projectile location based on the player's direction and position. But it doesn't make so much sense when we need to render things separate. So maybe since it's paired with the player, we're kind of screwed. So we might need to let's try something here. I've never done something like this quite before, but if we take this render function, and if we add another function, and it's going to be render aqueous. Could we do something like this, where we define a render aqueous, and it's just this. It's just the actual projectile. That way, we do our push and pop to get our separation of the scene and map, so our player exists outside of the scene. But then we do our render aqueous outside of that push pop, so that it sticks with the map. So here in the scene, whenever we go to render the player, so whenever we do this player render, like right here, then we do a push again. Okay, well, we render the player, and then if we have to, I don't know, let's just try it here. Render aqueous. So what I'm doing is putting that render aqueous inside of the push. So like push copies it. I don't know. Let's just see. I don't know what this does. It renders okay. Okay, so it's still jacked up. So let's see if we can do... I want it to be outside of the pop, right? So once we pop back, then let's go ahead and render aqueous. Because the push is what we're doing so that we can modify the other stuff. So if we do it after the pop, I think it should stick with the map. Ugh, it does not. Okay, so we could put this render in the map instead of the scene, because the scene can hold two maps. Let's pull open the map. Where is it? Yeah, we're gonna pull open the map, and whenever we do, like, let's see, we render a bunch of stuff in the map, and let's just say whatever, we know it needs to be in the map. The map is stationary. Every map is stationary until we're translating from a scene transition, but then when it's activated, it's stationary. So it's not player, but it's gonna be the scene view player. Okay, let's see. First of all, let's just see if we can see it. Yes. Oh my god. Oh, okay. It worked, but look at what happened. Yeah, it oh my god. It lands. So it's like if a scene view is finished shifting, we need to wipe any projectile that might be active so that we cannot see that. So I'm just going to put here render aqueous. So I guess we can fix this with in a finished shifting, right? So in our finished shifting, yes, in the function finish shifting, we need to clear the aqueous. So right here in the finish shifting is one thing, but we need to do the whatever the aqueous projectile instantiation on our player is. So when we say aqueous, what is it? Aqueous projectile here in our player, we do right here, we just initialize it. So we can probably just reinitialize it upon the finish shifting so that it resets the default values, like is it casting, is it position, is it rendering even. So here in the scene, when we go to our finish shifting, yeah, one of the last things we got to do here is just say, let's go flush our aqueous projectile back to its default setting. So it doesn't exist. It gets reinstantiated to basically pending. Oh shit, didn't work. Did not work. Well, we did it on the self and we need to do it on the player. So we'll flush the player's aqueous. Oof. Oof. The init wasn't quite good enough. Let's see the aqueous projectile inits, and it's stuff like, oh, we don't have the casting. We don't have the casting. We should have, you know, we have these things where we say, okay, there's a landing spot, there's a casting on our player. We need to say that we are not casting and not landed. So both of these need to be flushed here. So when we initialize, we need to say casting is false on our player, and then also cast landed is also false. Didn't like the player in our aqueous projectile. Okay, well, instead of doing that, we could do this on the finish shifting. So let's try that. So when we go to reinitialize it, we also just flush these things. Let's try it. I want to get the aqueous timer off there because it's just bugging me. Look at that. Oh no, man. That is not right. We basically need to ensure we cannot cast. It's tweening the value as it's casting on a begin transition. So because it's not landed yet. Let's go to, I want to say we can put this, well, because we want to be able to see it when we're transitioning off. So we don't want to just screw that. Why would it still cast after a finished transition? There could be another thing here. We might need to do the land timer. Maybe. Landed timer. Oh my gosh, dude. See, all of these things need to be reset. So the casting timer, the landed timer need to be reset. And we can make this a method to make it a little more straightforward. Aqueous cast landed timer. Okay. Let's see if that helps us. No. So why is it casting more? Why is it spitting out another? Why is it spitting out another? Well, our projectile. Aqueous casting. So like it's only tweening if it's either aqueous casting and not cast landed. Yeah. So once we flush cast landed to false, see, aqueous casting should be false at that point in time. So let's see aqueous casting. Let's print up this aqueous casting and see if this is getting reset to true, because I believe it must be. I'm thinking it goes from false, from true to false back to true. Yeah, so it still thought it was true. So our aqueous casting isn't working as intended, even though we become false casting at the end of a finished shifting. Because this is our finished shifting, it should flush it. But when are we going aqueous casting true? Because something is redoing that. We only do it here on our success timer. Okay, so our success timer is the only thing we did not re-init. So our aqueous success timer is going to be 0. Okay, and that should fix our issue. So right here, aqueous success timer needs to get set and assigned to only 0. And we can put all this in a method and clean it up a bit. Okay. Nice, nice. Oh. That was messed up. I mean, this is something, right? If we shoot it and then walk into it off screen, it disappears. Because we're reinitializing it. So it's like, do we only flush it? Do we only flush it if we are facing a direction? How do we put it? We're reinitializing it when we scene transition, but if we scene transition into a direction we're facing, should we leave it because it's where it would land? You know, like this. We cast it, we walk into it. Should it land on the next screen there? It looks, it's like, since it's part of the map, I don't know how it would work because we're not tweening the value. Let me just see. Yeah, see, it would be on the left side. Because if we turn this off, it'll teleport, right? It'll teleport to the left side. So let's see. I didn't even see it there. Okay. Well, we did all this. Let me try it one more time. Let me see. See how it teleports there? Because it is not tweening like us. Okay. My gut tells me we should fix this. Yeah. My gut tells me we should fix it. It's just that in order to fix it, we need to basically do the fix we did in most scenarios, or I should say, yeah, let me see. We need to do this so that it goes off screen. But if we fire it and we scene transition in the direction, if we shoot it in the direction we're scene transitioning into, we need to not reinitialize this, but we do need to tween it in relation to our character's tween. Which I am not feeling so confident on implementing right now. But this is good for now. We fixed the render order layer issue, and we fixed the walking off screen issue, but we found a new one, which is walking off screen in the direction you face in, just disappears it. So we should fix that coming up. But this is good. We did stuff. Xfinity says the internet's going to be better now. It's fine now, 0 drop frames, but we'll see if that holds. If we look at our git diff here, we basically made a render aqueous render call separated from our player so that we can render it in the map instead of the scene. So that's all we did. And then added these reinitialization things. I guess we might as well mark and commit. We'll say aqueous render beneath player and re-init upon scene transition. Okay. and we'll push. Great. Okay, Shift P is what I have not been doing. Okay, Shift P is good. We've got our commit there. So I think what I'm going to do here is just run credits and we'll call it a night. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow and we will get our final fixes on that. Hopefully we can fix that tween issue, or I can think of something that can be better for that solution. Because once that's all playing fair, then we go to the entity interaction, and then we can go about actually placing new enemies and whatnot. My initial thoughts here are that the water will basically be just super effective against the volcano biome area. So any fire geckos can be singed out, and any fire bats can be singed out, and then they can be cleansed once they're singed out. I don't know why I call it singed. I just mean spray water on a lava thing to make it purple, and once it's purple, it can be cleansed. So that's the kind of idea for this. And then we will find out, right? Because if we get the water element, then we head to the volcanoes. Then in the volcanoes, water is super effective there, but nothing else is. Then by the end of the volcano biome, we'll get possibly, and there's only two other spells, right? It's only Locks, which is the light spell, or Echo, which is the green spell. So maybe we can go to the ice mountain after the volcanoes, therefore getting the Lock spell in the volcano biome. And then the light spell is what we do to get the distance, the long distance projectile, so we can murk the birds there. And then we get the green there, and we go over to the desert, which is our last biome. So I guess the forest biome is the first one with the fire being effective against, which kind of makes sense. Water, aqueous, is effective in the volcano, which gets you the Locks. Locks is effective in the winter mountain, Mount Kazan, or not Kazan, Mount Wutai. And then in Mount Wutai, you get the Echo, which is good in the desert. And then that is our 4 spells effectiveness, and then we have to, we'll figure out what tunics go in which biomes as well, and what unlocks make sense there. But that is sounding good, and then we got to keep it simple. We got to keep it simple so that we can ship the game. So I think that's a good game plan for now, and I will continue to think on if that's the right move, and think of how we can do the scene transition fix with the spell, because it's not great. And maybe we can take a look at how we do it with Flamma, because that transitions off correct. So hopefully we can figure out how to make it work for Aqueous too. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I'll be back tomorrow.